What up? It's your boy T-Bird, her reaction to Today's Wrestling Wednesday. Now, we checked out from partsUNknown, Homegrown Times from WWE. Now we're going to check out some Homegrown Time with AEW. Now with AEW, Homegrown is more so those who spend majority of their career in the indie scenes as well too. Now I mean, unlike WWE where folks made their indie, but they big in the indie scene as well too. Dude, I mean, not counting like the true indie that is like short career, like WXW and some other like local schools, something like that. First to get a little bit of training and get your foot in the door, get your little foot in on wrestling as well too. I'm talking about indies such as PWG, Evolve, many others well too. So these are like guys who finally got their big break in major professional wrestling and with AEW as well too. So we want to check out the top greatest homegrown AEW star as well too. The only person I know for sure is going to be on there. The first I know for sure is going to be in there is MJF and possibly Orange Cassidy, as well as I can say the Acclaim could be on there. Who knows? But other than that, let's see who are definitely on this one. Let's get it.
Last week we talked about the best wrestlers ever planted, watered, and photosynthesized by WWE, and we had a grand old time. But given that we are currently sandwiched between two AEW pay-per-views, we thought we would take a similar look at the Tony congregation. Of course, WWE and AEW have been around for almost the same amount of time, in the grand scheme of the universe anyway, but we will have to adjust our criteria a little bit. Given that AEW hasn't had too many success stories out of their associated schools just yet, Satnam Singh, Anthony Ogogo, and even Hook, for as much as I love him, haven't reached the level of success to be featured just yet. We will be looking at those who may have walked into AEW with some experience, but have become undeniable stars in the Tony conglomerate. I'm Tempest hailing from partsUNknown, and these are the 10 greatest homegrown AEW stars ever. But before we get on with this list, make sure, of course, that you like this video, subscribe, and enable notifications to always on so you never miss a fun list just like it. We're almost at
this is also going to be all kayfabe gimmicks and alignment aside as well, too. Not going to work too much online. Might have my moment say boo, like I kind of did with Roman, but other than that, let's keep
150,000 subscriber goal, so make sure you help us get there by watching last week's list and this one today. Number 10, Wardlow. Wardlow may have badly come off the boil over the last year, but there is no denying how well done his rise to stardom was. When Wardlow was being hyped up, beating up NPCs on a rooftop, or whatever his vignette was, I didn't know who he was.
I forgot AJ was in this little vignette.
But 2 years later, he was one of the highlights of Dynamite and a clear-cut next TNT champion. His slow burn Batista-esque rise as MJF's heavy was done to perfection, and he seemed poised to remain one of AEW's top stars. But since then, Wardlow has been one of the more one-dimensional wrestlers in the company. He's been a one-note character over the last year, which is AEW's fault, and he's been a one-note wrestler in need of much more than a powerbomb, which is his fault. But there's still time for them to get Wardlow back to where he was and beyond, because as we've seen, across wrestling time and space, people like to see a big, meaty man bumping meat if they're given a reason to care. Number 9, Jade Cargill. There are glaring similarities between...
I hope she do return as a babyface. I hope so, man, because I wanted to root her so bad, but she had to go to heel because I guess it filled her personality in a way, but I feel like she will do great as a babyface for sure, man.
Wardlow and Jade Cargill, formerly the Forever TBS champion until Forever finally came to an end. Jade also lacked...
And it was like prolonged forever. Boring, I feel like they did it because they really wanted Chris Stanley to be the one, but she was dealing with injuries.
Much of any real storyline, winning matches with little question about who would win, but while a bit of extra sauce on Jade's first 2.5 years in AEW would have been nice, it is undeniable that the booking philosophy of having a 1,000 batting average makes you a star. There are few in all of AEW with as much natural star power and charisma as Jade. I mean, who else's entrance could possibly give Queen of the Ring such a reaction? It will be very interesting to see what Jade is able to do in a post-undefeated streak world, and odds are that next chapter will be when we really see who Jade Cargill is. Hopefully. After all, we have seen her entire wrestling career being played out on national television. So if that isn't homegrown talent, I don't know what is.
Yeah, like definitely got him. I like to say they got him here come back as a babyface, man. She deserves to have the crowd behind her, man. For officially.
Number 8, Jack Perry.
Yep.
One of only
Jackass.
a handful of names signed
Whoa,
before
not
AEW
Tommy,
ever
he was
put
cool,
on
but
a show.
Jackass.
Jungle Boy Jack Perry
Yes.
was an early fan favorite of the AEW faithful. Coming to the ring on the back of a dinosaur with a little miniature man running around,
Marco
Jungle
Stein.
Boy was one of the more kid-friendly characters of the early days of Dynamite, with a promising future to boot. From making it through Chris Jericho's 10-minute challenge in 2019 to having a hell of a match with MJF at Double or Nothing 2020, a very fun TV program with Kenny Omega in 2021, and his tag title reign in 2022, Jungle Jack seemed on the way up until 2023. This year has been a bit of a snag for the lad, as the split from Jurassic Express and Christian Cage left him a bit exposed, especially in the promo department, leading to his recent bad boy, leather jacket, say bad words, and beat up your dad's favorite ECW wrestler's character change. The future is still bright for Jack. Christ, he's only 26 years old after all, and AEW clearly has big plans for him, but he is the first of AEW's pillars to show up on this list. Number 7, Sammy Guevara,
yep.
the second of AEW's pillars to show up on this list. Another OG AEW signing, Sammy has always been able to claim that he wrestled the first ever match at Double or Nothing 2019 and the first ever match on AEW Dynamite, meaning he is about as grassroots as they come in AEW. Sammy is among those on this list that came in with a good amount of experience under his belt. Hell, he signed with AEW with a championship belt.
Yeah, I was
around
surprised
his
they had more, especially since he had a good run on Lucha Underground. But I guess that's like for him to count that. That's like I guess Lucha Underground since it was like default. I guess it was a good way to count him in.
He's from one of the top promotions in Mexico. But in terms of coming into his own as a star, that has been on full display in AEW. Sammy has been
like I said, yeah. That's then again, I think about it. Lucha Underground will be kind of low key equivalent to MLW. So because that was the case, then what's the name? F will be eliminated, but so I doubt he'd be eliminated. So I doubt that. So that's a good way to think about that as well too.
4 years of his AEW career solidly in Chris Jericho's shadow, whether it be as a member of the Inner Circle or the Jericho Appreciation Society. So it remains to be seen how well he will do when he is finally free from Jericho's clutches. But Sammy has always been more than capable of pulling off star-making performances. His TNT title reigns may have been a bit more than spotty, but we shall not write him off by any means, especially given how one of those TNT reigns started. Number 6, Jamie Hayter.
Yep.
I am so sad that Jamie Hayter was not able to wrestle at All In, because the ovation that she would have gotten would have been enough to bump her halfway up this list. There have been a lot of people in AEW who have gotten over incredibly organically, many of whom we have yet to talk about, but you cannot mention any of them without first talking about Jamie Hayter. Her rise from being merely Britt Baker's second in command to the AEW Women's Champion was remarkable, to the point that by the time Full Gear 2022 arrived, AEW had no choice but to crown her as the top star in the division. Not too bad for just over a year's work. Had her run not been derailed because of injury, she potentially could have been the best AEW Women's Champion ever. Hell, she still might be because of that Hikaru Shida match alone. The AEW Women's Division has been a point of conversation since the day the company was launched, often not for reasons the company would like, but when you look at the company's ability to create an honest-to-goodness superstar to champion that division, there is maybe only one name that ranks high.
I will say, hold up, shout out to Fly Guy, Ayo, with Side Gunner here, but he been on a lot of the front rows at a lot of wrestling shows, especially AEW. But he was actually I think. So yeah, that's crazy. I still say they still need work with the women's division as well too. I mean, like that's because even when Jade Cargill was running with the TBS title, it was like okay, get on with it. It's starting to like okay, let's get over it, get rid of the streak and all that as well. Because it's like it's been like a same old recording as well too. So that's why I like folks saying that Chris Stanley's running is bad. I mean, at least she's wrestling every day and giving it a good match. With Jade Cargill, would just squash people left and right.
Higher than Jamie Hayter. Number 5, The Acclaimed.
The Acclaimed, yes, sir!
Listen, the immortal words of Navi the Fairy, who everyone hates. And also The Acclaimed, who, I'm told, everyone loves.
Yes.
The only tag team to feature on this list, Max Caster.
Shout out them to being the Trios title tag team champs along with Daddy Ass Billy Gunn.
And Anthony Bowens are the biggest success story of AEW Dark and AEW Dark.
Yeah, that's right. I just thought about that. They mainly got started on Dark. I just thought about that. So yeah.
May they rest in peace. While those shows weren't exactly AEW developmental, in many ways they were. a place for AEW to give young wrestlers reps and try out ideas to potentially bring to TV later. The Acclaimed has been by far the greatest thing to come out of that show. They both had experience on the indies, but to the wider audience, they were unknowns stepping into AEW, but oh how that changed. An engaging team with two talented wrestlers, a fun gimmick allowing them to get mic time every time they're on TV, a sexually provocative catchphrase. That sounds like a winning combination in wrestling to me. From a comedy heel team to the most popular act in the whole company by the time All Out 2022 hit, boy, it's weird to talk about that show in a positive light. You don't get much more undeniable and organically popular than the Scissor Squad.
By the way, first one why I didn't do it, I was out of time. It's like by the time I do, it's been like way overdue to talk about the fire on CM Punk, but at least since I got a little leverage to talk about it, all I say is damn. That's all I gotta say. I'm hopefully if I feel like I might add a little clip in this moment right here, though, you'll see. If not, then I'll save myself. In the words of Chris Tucker, if you know this Chris Tucker line, but anyway, let's keep going.
Number 4, Darby Allin. Now, Darby Allin was one of the names on this list I had seen before the creation of AEW. I'd seen him in Evolve in the World Wrestling Network, and I certainly thought he was a talented fellow, but never did I think he would become one of the most popular stars of a nationally televised wrestling show.
I don't think, to be honest, not me. I had a feeling, not me, because I got with him on AEW, but I can see why people thought that, because he's a small guy and everything. He's a small guy, big small guy, small as him. I mean, like I said before him, he was like he's like a new age Spike Dudley in a way, but but better. But like I said, for somebody his size, you wouldn't think he'd do great in a major wrestling company. But here we are now, fast forwarding right now, he's killing it. Along with somebody's probably going to be higher or you rank on this one too.
Today, you would be hard-pressed to find an AEW show without at least one child's face painted like Darby Allin. He is a fully defined character, having been given plenty of time to show the people who he is and what his story has been. He is one of the most consistently excellent TV wrestlers in the business.
I would say definitely a mixture of a Jeff Hardy and a slightly darker Rey Mysterio as far as, kids being fans of him.
One of the very best TNT champions there has ever been, and I don't know when it will be, but he will be an AEW world champion in his career.
That would be awesome to see that.
I feel a bit more confident in that prediction than I did my last one. Number 3, Britt Baker. It was very clear from the first day of AEW.
It'd be great if the two folks I told you about that are like killing it as baby faces right now in AEW be the number two and one. I know number one. I already know who number one is right now, but he'd be number 2.
That Britt Baker was their future women's champion. While there is certainly loads of criticism against her eventual reign, that much repeated interference would be enough to put anybody off. When she finally won the AEW Women's title at Double or Nothing 2021, she was an undeniable superstar. Having only wrestled for just over 3 years at the time of AEW's launch, there was no guarantee that Britt would have panned out, even with the AEW machine behind her, but her rapid improvement, her character work during her injury throughout the pandemic, her star-making performance against Thunder Rosa, and her connection with the crowd made her what she was always destined to be, the face of the AEW women's division. Number 2, Orange Cassidy. Don't get me wrong, Orange Cassidy was certainly known by hardcore fans before AEW was launched. He'd made his enemies with those who hate fun in wrestling because of some viral clips, but there is a difference between a clip going around on Twitter and being a consistent fixture on a nationally televised...
And I told you before, if I could be somebody that's proud of a wrestler that achieved, Bianca being one of them, him, most definitely, man. It's a fact, because, I went to bat for this man when I first heard. I kind of heard about him a little bit before Day, but when I first saw him on the What's, I'm like, okay, he's interesting, cool, interesting guy. And I heard about this, and the fact that he got the push he got into what he is now, man, I gotta say, I am so proud of Orange Cassidy, man, for real. I am, really.
His wrestling show. I had my doubts about how far the Orange Cassidy character could go, but after seeing his match with Pac at Revolution, I never doubted the man again. There is
match against Pac was the breakout, and the other one with Ospreay was his breakouts for sure.
Zero question that Orange Cassidy has become one of the most popular stars AEW has had in their entire existence, and his current run as the international champion is one of the best title reigns in North America this century. If that isn't success, I don't know what is, but I think I realized...
You know it's ended. Like I said, for Rock, I will say that was definitely one of the best, the top babyface champion run we have ever seen in the current run, in the current era. Because a lot of the time, a lot of folks were a fan of babyface run because they always see him as chaser. He made that champion. He made that championship. He definitely made that championship. Like Triple Rome is making the current championship right now. He made that championship for real, man.
Why Orange wears those Ray-Bans. Because his future is so damn bright.
It is.
And number one, Zach Clayton. Yeah, I'm kidding. Number one, MJF.
Of course.
As if it could be any.
If he had as good bust known for the baby as a heel, he's definitely on the verge of being that top babyface. Less again, it's going to be another big swerve. But right now, he's definitely on the verge of being one of the top babyfaces of AEW right now.
Anyone else. MJF had done an incredible amount of work in MLW, getting himself ready for superstardom. And if you watch the first All-In show, you can see he is a ready-made man, clearly destined for greatness. MJF was handled incredibly well by AEW during their first year, as his mentorship under Cody Rhodes gave AEW fans a storyline reason to despise him rather than simply relying on cheap heat promos. Very well delivered cheap heat promos, but that's what the early MJF AEW promos were. After he turned on Cody, he had something to sink his teeth into, and ever since, he has been one of the most protected and promoted stars and well-rounded characters in AEW. You have veterans saying he is the greatest talker of his generation and the greatest heel since Ric Flair, and I would love to hear the argument against that stance. One of the most charismatic performers in wrestling this century, MJF is easily the greatest star raised by AEW, and keep in mind, he's only 27 years old, so without a question, the best is absolutely still yet to come. And that's our list. Please make sure, of course, that you like...
too. And that is facts. Like I said, and it's safe me saying that because he turned Cody a babyface. It's a big swerve. But I will say this, that he is definitely and I'll say his current right now, he's definitely pretty much. Remember Triple H came back as a baby face from an injury and how well he did, as well as kind of that, a mixture of that and his post evolution babyface run. This is what MJF is doing right now. I mean, best known as the biggest heel, Triple H was known as the biggest heel of the Attitude Era and definitely during the Ruthless Aggression era. That damn Reign of Terror that MJF was trying to do with the title, but he probably still gonna do it if he happens to turn back heel again. But like I said, especially if this becomes a big swerve. But right now, he's definitely enjoying being a babyface right now. I'm definitely in that respect that though I can't believe I'm rooting for MJF right now. So that's all good as well too. Like I said, even if it's I'm playing along, still playing along. I mean, I'm still skeptical about it as well too. In case in case this is the one's biggest swerve. Cause like I say, he call himself the devil. You know what I mean? So other than that, we'll see. But either way, this was a good list right there as well too, though. Good picks: Warlow, Jade, Jamie, Jack Perry, Sammy, Jamie Hayter, The Acclaim. I was glad to see them on there. Darby was well deserved as well too. Like I said, Hook hasn't been established enough yet to be on there as well too, but another one should be on there. He's a heel right now. Luchasaurus, definitely. I mean, he's definitely can say he's definitely a good homegrown right now. Let me see. I'm trying to figure out anybody else that's just as of a homegrown as the rest. A lot of them has some experience in indies as well too. Sky Blue could be on her way. She keep going. Chris Statlander for sure. I would kind of say Chuck Taylor in a way, but he might have experience in other companies before that, so I'm a little skeptical on that. Who else I would say that it's on the verge of, that's kind of on the verge, that's kind of homegrown, but not there yet. I can't think of anybody else. But other than that, this was definitely good. Powerhouse Hobbs for sure. But yeah, other than that, If you like my reaction, like, share, subscribe my YouTube channel. It's your boy T. Signing off. One love.